This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of R&R Reviews Unscripted. You're here today with me, Joe, and my brother, Nick, and we're going to sit down and chat about one of our latest movie reviews and let you know all the details.
Because we know that you're just dying to know all the minor details on a movie that came out over 15 years ago.
Very well said.
Well said, well spoken.
This week, we're going to sit down and talk about Ron Howard's classic Apollo 13. With an all-star cast, an amazing score, great cinematography, this movie is literally almost perfect in every way.
Other than Ron Howard's brother.
Okay.
Alert. If you haven't seen Apollo 13, well, too bad, we're going to talk about it anyways.
We're going to let you know everything about it. And if you ain't seen it, well, it's time to go sit down and watch it.
It's a very good movie.
And it's like history, man. Science. In case you haven't liked our Facebook page or subscribed to our YouTube page, we'll let you know that we gave Apollo 13 an overall rating of 7.5 out of 10 points. That means we like it, okay? Our watch meter says, this is literally history and one amazingly moving piece of cinema.
What really tells you that we liked it is that we gave it like 3/4 of a total 10.
Yeah, Nick, that's what I said.
7.5, that's 3/4 of 10.
I said. All right.
Moving on.
So, listen, buckle your seatbelts in because this rocket is about to take off. That was cheesy.
Alright, so if you guys don't know what this movie's about, let me kind of give you a little bit of an overview. Like we said, it is history. So we've got Tom Hanks, and he's sitting on a bench, and he's telling kind of his life story, which includes all kinds of lovable characters like Bubba Gump and Lieutenant Dan.
Nick, that's Forrest Gump. You're telling the plot to Forrest Gump. No, that's not. This movie is about astronauts on a real space mission. They attempted to go back to the moon. After Neil Armstrong had already landed there, they go back up and their ship gets messed up. Come on, don't you remember this? They were up in... So... After shut up. We know they were in space.
They were up in space.
Shut up.
Jenny.
Listen. So after their rocket blasts off, they have some sort of issues with the tanks, and that makes me sound dumb. Okay. After the rocket blasts off, they get up into space. They're on their way to the moon. They have some issues with their ship. And is a ship correct word? It sounds dumb.
It is the oxygen tanks. He stirred the oxygen tanks and they exploded.
Okay. So they get up into space. So after their rocket gets into space and they're on their way to the moon, Kevin Bacon stirs the oxygen tanks. The tanks end up bursting in essence, and there's some kind of malfunction. Part of their ship blows off. All this, it's all crazy. It goes completely haywire. They're just trying to make it back by the skin of their teeth. They're just trying to get home to their families. That's it.
I know what space is, Jenny.
That's it. Just home. That's it.
Home and where you make it.
What I do really love about this film is just how practical it was overall. I feel like, as well, it really captures that time in America very good. It was a totally different time, something that I think we would have had to all experience to really understand. We were trying to get into space, and it was during the Cold War and all that. Man, it does make it look like such an interesting time to be alive in America.
Yeah, we were, like you said, we were trying to get into space, man. We were fighting real hard to get up there. The score is awesome. The cinematography, like you said, the practical effects use is awesome. And that's what I love about, this was a big movie. This was a big blockbuster type film. And they didn't go just green screen everything. You can tell that they tried their best to make everything as practical as it could be. And they still had special effects that really were great for their time. And I think movies nowadays, especially blockbuster films, lack that. Everything is a green screen now.
And they let Andy Griffith's boy direct it.
Yeah. And did you see his brother in there?
Yeah. He has no hair.
Yeah. I like Clint, alright? I like Clint, and he's in almost every one of his movies.
I like him too, even though he looks kind of weird. But he's always there, and you're like, aw, sweet, gentle, big man face.
But let's not forget about the cast in this movie, okay? We're talking about Tom Hanks, Bill Paxton, Kevin Bacon, Gary Sinise, just to name a few. Not to mention the supporting cast, Ed Harris, Tracy Reiner, and so many more names in this movie that are just phenomenal. Also,
Clint Howard, definitely one of the greatest actors in this movie.
Also, rest in peace, Bill Paxton.
I think, on that note, it's time for us to introduce one of our new segments. Nick's Nonsense. Nick's Nonsense. Alright, so what I have to say today is Bill Paxton is probably one of the greatest supporting actors of all time.
May he rest in peace.
Any movie where he's a supporting actor, it's just full of deliciousness, okay? So we got the Terminator where he's the punk gangster guy.
I think this guy's a couple cans short of a six-pack.
We can't forget him in Weird Science. He's freaking great in Weird Science. He turns into a giant piece of poop.
Hey, what are big brothers for?
He's in Commando.
You must first change course or you risk being shot down. Acknowledge.
He's in Aliens, okay, where the greatest line of Bill Paxton ever came out.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
He's in Predator 2 where he...
I'll handle it. PR's my specialty.
I mean, anything that Bill Paxton is in when he's a side character is great. And I know what you're thinking. Well, he's in Twister. Yeah, but he's the lead in Twister. And Twister has its own great side character itself, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
May he rest in peace.
Are you sure it wasn't Dustin Hoffman?
No, it was not Dustin Hoffman. He was not counting cards in Las Vegas with tornadoes, Charlie Babbitt. Bill Paxton's also in Tombstone, one of the greatest movies of all time.
You're right, White. They got me good.
He's in Titanic. I mean, literally, Bill Paxton has to be the greatest supporting character ever. Also, can you believe the amount of people that believe we faked the moon landing? So that brings up the question with Apollo 13. If we fake the moon landing, do they think that we still did the Apollo 13 mission? Did we launch a giant rocket into space for no reason, knowing we couldn't make it into the moon? Or do they just think that we faked that part too? Was it all fake? Where did these photos come from? How much money did it cost to make these photos? Was it more money than it was to send a rocket? Did we fake all the other Apollo missions? Were the astronauts drugged? Do they think they went into space? Are they in on it? Did Stanley Kubrick shoot all of the film? Because I don't know if he was still alive for all the different rocket launches. Did Russia fake their stuff? Were they trying to bankrupt us as well? Do they have good movie studios over in Russia to shoot faked moon launchings in? Do they have good movies in Russia at all? I don't know. It's a good question. I would like to know. Did Ron Howard try to introduce a Apollo 13 whistling theme song into the movie and get told no by the bosses? Who knows? This has been Nick's Nonsense.
With no survivors.
I broke the window again.
So, if you guys don't know the plot to this movie, basically what it's about is Tom Hanks...
I already said the plot. We just need to talk about the ending. So, like,
Tom Hanks goes into space and he gets lost. The spaceship wrecks and he gets stranded on a space island. And there's no people around. The only thing he can find to make a friend is a space volleyball. And so he accidentally puts a bloody face on the space volleyball
Nick.
and names it Space Wilson.
Nick, this...
Space Wilson!
Are you mixing the plot of Castaway with Apollo 13?
No, I remember reading that in a history book back in school.
Did you? Is that so?
Apollo 13, space volleyballs.
So, when we get to the latter half of this movie, obviously the question is, will they make it home? Well, let's let you in on a little secret. It's a true story, so we already know that they make it home. But it's still pretty intense. The suspense is great, it's a great story, and it will make you tear up at the end when those guys make it home and their families are happy. And especially when you get to see Rance Howard sitting on that couch just consoling those young boys. And it's just good-hearted fun.
Right, even for a movie that is as old as it is, and You know, obviously we know the story. Even after you've watched the movie once, you know the story. But at the end, it still gets intense every time. Like, you still get anxious.
So, I mean, what's not to like in this movie, okay? Great music, great effects, great story, family feel. Make you want to laugh, make you want to cry, make you want to jump, make you sad, suspenseful. It has everything. And it has an iconic cast. It is an amazing movie. It was a 2-time Oscar-winning film. And I believe, if I can quote my own words correctly, it got a total of 56 nominations, 24 other awards. This movie was critically reviewed high. It's a good watch, man. This movie comes in budgeted at $52 million. Opening weekend in the USA, it made $25 million. It grossed worldwide, cumulatively, $355,237,933.
So its opening weekend, it made, you know, half of its budget back already just in one weekend, which is great. And it's not surprising that this movie has spawned 3 sequels. You know, you take a great character like Tom Hanks, the rustic cowboy. He's got lots of, you know, zany characters coming in. You know, you got Buzz Lightyear, the spaceman. Of course, who else is gonna save you when you're trapped in space?
Nick.
Right?
Nick, you need to shut up, okay? That is,
You are a toy!
You need to shut up, okay? That's Toy Story. I think that's all we have today, folks. We really appreciate you listening in, as always, to me and this guy just ramble on about nothing for quite some time. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Don't forget to check out and like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube page, and I'll tell you a little secret, we got some new stuff coming pretty soon, and I don't just mean content, alright? Good stuff. Make sure you're listening, watching, and make sure you leave a comment for us. We'll see you next time.
And remember, guys, like Tom Hanks said in this movie, my mama always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what kind of space you're gonna get. It's a beautiful day in the cinema hood.
Do 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 do.